I am. I wasn't planning on vlogging today, and then a lot of things just happened all in quick succession. The first thing that just happened, I was in Barnes & Noble. You'll see some of the clips because I was picking up a book. You'll probably be able to guess what it is. I'll show it to you. I don't know why I'm saying you'll guess, because it's the vlog and I'll show it to you. But I might be the last person on earth to discover that there's a Barnes & Noble educator discount and you get 20% off. How have I not ever, taken advantage of that? So anyways, I just signed up for the educator discount. It was free, because unlike Barnes & Noble's membership, where you have to pay to be a member, that's why I've declined it this whole time. She was like, well, the educator discount is a free program to join. And I was like, excuse me? So I just got 20% off the book that I was willing to pay full price for, because that's why I came to Barnes & Noble bright and early this morning, but now I got it for 20% off. So anyways, welcome to my vlog. It's Cass. The other reason why I'm vlogging today is because I'm working on God's Grave, and there's just a lot of stuff that I really have to talk about with God's Grave, written by J. Kristoff. So my early morning errand to Barnes & Noble is now complete, so I'm going to head home, and I'll catch you up when we get back home. Hey, pretty girl. Okay, we are now back at home, so now I can officially, talk about what I was actually going to talk about today, and the reason why I'm starting this vlog. So anyways, the purchase that I made at Barnes & Noble, I went in there to specifically get the Barnes & Noble edition of Queen of Nothing, because Queen of Nothing just came out this week, and I knew I was going to buy this book brand new, because it was one of my most anticipated releases for this end of the year. And I was like, ooh, I should get the Barnes & Noble edition because it has the letters from Carden, and I'm a sucker for that. So I was like, yes, I want those. But when I was in Barnes & Noble, that's when I saw that they had the whole box set of all of the Barnes & Noble editions. And that's what I ended up doing. I did it again in terms of buying something that I didn't think I was gonna buy, and then what do you know, I just have no self-control. So now they have the entire box set of all of the Barnes & Noble editions. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my regular editions. I'll probably still keep them, to be honest, because I like all of the covers that I've seen of this whole trilogy. So I'll probably still keep that and buy the regular one. So now I'll have 2 whole complete sets. Oh Lord. Does anyone else do that? Please don't make me feel like I'm the only one who... Ooh. Okay, now it doesn't have the plastic on it. I'll probably throw the box away. I don't see the reason to keep the box. Whoop. Okay, let's just take the box out. So this... Here is the Barnes & Noble cover of Queen of Nothing. The original cover, the regular cover, is white with that purple snow in the background, and the purple snake. I do love these all black editions. I didn't realize that Queen of Nothing was also going to be the shortest of the whole trilogy. Does that bother anyone else, where the last book of the trilogy ends up being the shortest? Meh. Okay, so I'm actively working on 2 different books. So I've been working my way through Darkdawn, and I'm almost actually finished with Furyborn. This was a book that I didn't actually put in my my November TBR. I just ended up picking this one up on a whim, and I have a lot to say about this one. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it a lot in this vlog yet, because right now we just have to talk about Darkdawn. Okay. Darkdawn's kind of getting on my nerves, and it's definitely not going to be a 5-star. It's not going to be a 5-star conclusion. I'm probably about 3/4 of the way through the book. I'm in all right, so this is going to have some Darkdawn spoilers. I'll put the thing on the screen so that way you know when the spoilers are being discussed, and then I'll take it off when I'm done. I just got past the part where Ashlyn dies, and I am actually glad. Ashlyn and Trix and Mia's love triangle in this book is the reason why I was not excited for Darkdawn to begin with. When Godsgrave ended and Trick comes back from the dead, I immediately knew what I was going to be in store for this last book. And I was like, son of a bitch, it's going to be the two of them fighting over Mia. And what has 3/4 of this book been? Ashlyn being super insecure about Mia's love for her. I hate this whole thing. Like, Ashlyn is playing the like super insecure current girlfriend, and Trick is being the like stoic ex in the corner, like always waiting in the wings. And I hate that type of love triangle. I would have been much more receptive to the love triangle if it had been like they're equals. All three of them are equals. And I don't know, I personally get a lot more out of love triangles when the person who's deciding between the two decides to put it all out there and is like, I love you both and I want to be with you both, and that's just how it's gonna be. Maybe I've read one love triangle like that. Now I can't remember which one it was, but I know I've read it somewhere, and I like that way more than what we got in this one. So I'm actually pretty relieved that Ashlyn died. I'm not upset over her death one bit. I was way more upset over Butcher's death. I was way more upset about any of the Falcons of the Collegium. Way more upset about their deaths, and we didn't get as much page time with them. With how much of time is devoted in this book to Ashlyn's feelings, Trick's feelings, Mia deciding between the two of them, I just have not been enjoying Darkdawn as much as I thought I would. That makes me really upset. I'm still rating this book very high because there are a lot of good points. Like, I loved her time with the pirates. I loved her ending up being queen of the pirates. Hell yes. Though there are so many good things in there, and I think the best parts about this book are when Mia remains true to herself. I understand that Mia's undergone a transformation. She's undergone a change in terms of, like, now she cares about people. Like, that's what this whole book has been about. Now she cares about people. Now there is a cost to her actions. Now there's a cost to what she's been doing, and the vengeance that she wants to wreak on Consul Sceva. So I understand that, but doesn't it seem like her character's just gotten a little too soft? I don't know. The more I read this book, also with the kinds of revelations that we've been getting about the Black Mother, about currently 3/4 of the way through this book, Mia's destiny, the more it also makes me feel that Godsgrave, the second book, was so much filler. And there's a lot of this book that's also been a lot of filler that I just don't feel like, no matter what is going to come in the last quarter of the book, I don't feel like my opinion's going to change on that. I really don't feel like I'm going to push this up to a 5-star. I really don't feel like all of these things that have led me to whatever ending J. Kristoff has in store is going to change how I feel about the majority of the book and now my feelings towards Godsgrave. And because I'm just like, why couldn't we have gotten more nuggets of Mia's destiny in Godsgrave? And why is it taken at least halfway through Darkdawn to even approach this subject? So my plan for this weekend is, we'll see how much I get through Darkdawn. I've actually been doing that one more on audio because I've been reading Furyborn in the physical copy. So I might switch back and forth between discussing Darkdawn and discussing Furyborn this weekend. I wasn't originally planning on doing this vlog, but I just was like, how can I talk about this book immediately? Vlog is the answer. So I hope you enjoy. Stay tuned with what we have in store for this weekend, and I'll catch up with you in a little bit. Okay, it is now Saturday, and I am getting ready for the day. We are going to run some errands because we have to get Luna's nails trimmed. But then immediately after that, we're going to be going to our friend's house for a little puppy play date, but also my friend is cooking again, and we love to partake in his food. So when I left y'all off I had said that I was working on Nevernight, and I told you where I had ended with Nevernight. So I actually haven't been listening to Nevernight at all, but what I did end up doing was I finished Furyborn, and that I gave 5 out of 5 stars to. I think if it wasn't for Furyborn, and now Queen of Nothing, because immediately after finishing Furyborn, then I started on Queen of Nothing. If it wasn't for these two, I feel like my fall reading just would have been shot to oblivion. These two books, like, completely saved my fall reading. Just doing the prep work. You have to prep your face. And now I've got chapstick. So Furyborn, I do plan on doing like a full-blown review for this book. I totally think it's deserving of one. If you haven't picked up Claire Legrand's fantasy YA series, I think you should. If you like the books that I like, I don't see how you couldn't like this one. It's the closest thing to a YA grimdark that I've ever experienced. But it's not super gory, but it's pretty grim. It's just like there's things that happen to both of our main characters that are pretty grim, pretty disheartening, that completely keep the suspense level up, and that's like what kept me going. I found it really hard to put this book down. I looked forward to reading it every night, and every single chapter like ends on a cliffhanger, and there's like no real good stopping points. It's one of those books that there's just like there's no real good time to put it down. So it follows two women, Riel and Eliana, and they are separated by a few, maybe 1,000 years, maybe 2,000 years. I don't remember what the time jump is, but these two young women are separated through time. But the whole story kind of culminates in like how their two storylines intersect. So we see what happens to Riel in the past, and we see how it has shaped the future timeline that Eliana is currently living in. Riel is a young woman, who finds herself with these powers that her father and I think it's the Archon of the religion, or at least I'm unclear of like who this person is, and before I do a review I'll have to like figure out who it is. But they understand that she has like really incredible power that they are trying to suppress. And it's just one of those situations where the power has been building and building and building, and she can no longer contain it, so it like bursts outward. And that has a big impact on the society, because it's like there is a prophecy about two queens with this kind of immense power to save. One will destroy the world and one will save it. And Riel is put through these trials to determine if she ends up being one of these prophesied queens. And we see the reactions to what happened to the world, 1,000 years after her death. And it's, like I said, it's so exciting. There's just way too much that happens in this book that there was, like, no good stopping points. So I finished that yesterday. I think that was, like, the most productive reading night I've had in a long time. I read it throughout the day, and it's not a very long book. Well, that's a lie. It's like 500 pages, but it didn't feel like a 500-page book. The font was kind of big, like a little bit big, not a lot big, but a little bit, that it was like, oh nice, this isn't like a super dense 500-page book, which I appreciate. And there were just like so many different things. Like, I read Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand earlier this summer. Actually, I think I was like one of my last vlogs that I did, I was reading that, and there's just like this dark undertone to Claire Legrand's plots that I really like. I can't wait to see what happens in Kingsbane, because yes, I did end up buying Kingsbane. Like literally as soon as I started Furyborn, then I was like, well, I know I'm gonna have to read the second book. It just was one of those that like I knew the writing was working for me, I knew this story was working for me, that I would immediately want to find out what happens next. And then I actually did start, like I said earlier, I did start Queen of Nothing, and that one is a lot shorter than I was hoping it would be. I didn't actually, like, when I knew the release date was coming, I never actually checked out the page count on it, and this is the final book in the trilogy, so I'm always like, it's not Holly Black's fault. It's just been like a year of like anticipating the final installment to these trilogies, and they always end up being way shorter than I want them to be. I have been enjoying it so far, so actually I'm already 2/3 of the way through it. I read 100 pages last night, I read 100 pages this morning, and if all goes according to plan, I'll probably finish it tonight because I moved through those 100 pages pretty quickly. So did anyone catch the interview that Daniel Green did with Brandon Sanderson on his channel? It was an hour and a half long. I watched it this morning as well, and it was like my version of Saturday morning cartoons. It was such a good interview. I'm so glad that Brandon Sanderson agreed to do something like that. I think not only does it like validate the work that Daniel Green has been doing, he's been, you know, putting on a hustle from day one, but it also, I feel like, validates the space of YouTubers being like legitimate reviewers for books. But if you haven't watched it, I promise you, if you're a Brandon Sanderson fan, it's an hour and a half long, but it was totally worth my time to watch. Just because, like, there are some Wheel of Time spoilers in there, but to be honest, I just watched through the Wheel of Time spoilers because I'm so, like, the kinds of spoilers that they were referring to were, like, books 10 and 11 and so on and so forth, that, like, I haven't even started it, so by the time I end up getting to that point, I'm not even going to remember what they said. Like, all of those references went way over my head. And what I liked the most about it was just hearing, first of all, his experience taking over writing The Wheel of Time. Like, even though I haven't started reading it, I've been so fascinated by that whole thing, by the fact that Robert Jordan left behind all these notes and that his widow had commissioned Sanderson to do this, and like, what was that like? That was such a great question. How he had incorporated the notes left behind from Robert Jordan, but that was my first time hearing it, and it was also my first time hearing that like he didn't actually know Robert Jordan or his wife. He talked about who his favorite and least favorite characters are in the Stormlight Archives. So they're talking about how he approaches writing to YA, and he's like, I don't ever write down to teenagers because teenagers can sniff that out. And I was like, yes, they can. But he was like, but at the same time, I do want to get on with the story quicker. They're not there, like, they didn't pick up Stormlight Archives. They're not there for like this 5-chapter introduction before we get to the point of what he's trying to make. That's one of his approaches to writing YA. So anyways, I guess my plan for the rest of the reading weekend will be Queen of Nothing tonight. I'm still working on Nevernight on audiobook, so I think I'm pretty close enough to the end that it might be able to be finished by the end of tomorrow night. And then I'm just going to have to tag team 12 Kings. I'm looking at my books are stacked over there. I'm just going to have to tag team 12 Kings with an audiobook and just see how far I can get, because I've been pretty slow on that. If you're a part of my book club, I put that in the spoiler thread that I've just been like really slow moving on this one, and I don't think I'm the only one. There's a lot of people who also mentioned that they were just having a really hard time getting into this one. It's good, but I'm 25% of the way through and I'm like, ooh, I just need to get to the point. So, let me finish this, and I'll catch up with you in a little bit. We got a birthday girl in the house today. It's Luna's birthday, and Tim just went in the grocery store, so she might be whining in this clip. But we're on our way to our friend's house, like I said, for a little doggy play date. We're gonna have dinner with our friends. I haven't touched a book since I got ready, but like I said, my plan tonight is still to continue along with Queen of Nothing. I just didn't listen to any audiobooks today. That's what would have made me progress in Darkdawn. But we'll see how far I can get in Darkdawn. time. My plan for the rest of the evening is to finish The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. So I've got 100 pages left of this. I have absolute faith that I'll be able to finish it tonight. And I did end up listening to, I think, maybe a chapter and a half or maybe 2 more chapters of Darkdawn. So I'm almost done with book 4 inside Darkdawn. I'm almost up to the 5th part, which I don't really know what to expect. I think it's going to move really quickly because like the timestamp on all of the chapters seems to move really fast. Like, or not, the length of the chapters, that's what I'm trying to say. The length of the chapters looks to be much shorter in comparison to some of the other chapters. So, as I was saying earlier, I might actually be able to finish this thing this weekend, which would be crazy because I would finish 3 books in one weekend, which hasn't happened in quite some time. Okay, I'm trying to get out of my shadow here. Good morning, everybody. It is now Sunday, and you are about to witness me be like the ultimate dog mom. I never thought I'd be this dog mom or this person, but I'm about to make Luna her very own pup cake. So this is her peanut butter, as you can see. I have to write her name on it so we don't actually eat it, but this is going to be the frosting. Then, because we try and keep her on a grain-free diet, I had to look up like what can I find and what can I use. Also didn't really want to use baking powder because I just didn't know what the effects would be on a dog. So this is some coconut flour that I will be using in this. We have unsweetened applesauce, baby carrots, and then it also requires 3 eggs. So I got really curious. We ripped it in half and I had like a little sample. I mean, it's made out of all human stuff. It's not bad for you. But it also doesn't taste like anything. Okay, I'm gonna get ready to film. So, ready? Bye. Oh, peanut butter on my carpet. Okay, so I just got done filming my videos for the week, and it ended up getting delayed because my mom called me in the middle of it. So anyways, I forget what I was going to talk about that was like vlog related. So, okay, so I just got done filming my videos for the week, so you'll be able to see officially the book haul that includes The Queen of Nothing, and then some of the other stuff that I picked up. It was very YA heavy this month, which I did not anticipate. The things that I've been working on, now that we're sitting here with the good light, like I said, I finished Furyborn on Friday. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I mentioned that when I first talked about this book, but this book, if it was not for this book, I don't feel like I would have been like super excited about reading in the entire month of October and November and September. Like, I had a very, very, very slow build and I've just been having a hard time with some of the books that I've been reading. Like, to be quite honest, you haven't seen 12 Kings by Bradley Baleo in this vlog because I just haven't had the motivation to pick it up, even though it's the book club book. My plan for that is to finish that this week, now that we have a holiday week coming up. What I ended up doing was, the reason why I picked up Furyborn was because things were just going so slow for me, that I picked this one up hoping that it would kickstart my reading, and it absolutely did. So I feel like YA this year has been that, I don't know, it's revitalized a lot of things for me, and Furyborn revitalized my entire fall reading. And I do plan on doing a review of this book. I just don't know when. My review schedule got super backed up. Then I did end up finishing Queen of Nothing. I didn't finish it last night. I finished it this morning. I ended up falling asleep. Even though I only had like 100 pages left, I fell asleep with like 50 pages left, and I was like, I need to stay awake for this whole thing. So I finished this morning, and I was gonna give this a 4-star. And to be honest, I'm just such trash for this series that I ended up giving it 5 stars because I just loved it. Again, it was one of those things that, like, I cannot tell you why I love it so much, but I just did. There's something about it that, like, I loved the characters, I loved the story. It's not super original, it's not even the best written thing I've ever read, but I loved it nevertheless. It was a 5-star read because I'm such a fan of this series. So I think if I was going to be objective and objectively review this book on its own, like, as a part of the trilogy, this was a 4-star. I felt Cruel Prince and The Wicked King were much stronger than this one. This one was much shorter than the other two. This was just over 300 pages. I'll just say this. There were some things at the beginning of this book that I felt like could have been expanded upon, and we didn't get that. And I feel like Holly Black could have done it, though. I don't know if she was under like a time constraint. I don't know if she was forced to get this book out, but she came out with Cruel Prince, or she came out with The Wicked King and Queen of Nothing in the same year. So it just, I feel like maybe she could have pushed this back a little bit to give me the beginning of this story that I wanted. The setup for this book was very rushed, and I wasn't a fan of that, but overall, like I said, I'm just such trash for the series that I gave it 5 stars anyway, but if I was going to be objective, I would have given it a 4-star. Okay, so the plan is to finish Darkdawn. I did end up listening to the audiobook while I was getting ready for filming, so now I'm on chapter 41 on page 423, and I believe that I can get this done today, and I will give you an update when that happens. So my plan is not to end the vlog here. We're gonna finish 3 books this weekend, which is crazy. Shit. Fuck. It's totally a dupe. It's totally a doppelganger. Shit. Oh shit, it's not a shit. What? What? Oh, sick. I know what they did with the names of the chapters. Oh no, now I'm on Mercurio's chapter. I had to come back in my room to wrap up this vlog because I cannot. I just finished Darkdawn, and I decided to take you with me on that journey. So it's a 4.5 star because 4-star read for 90% of the book, but you cannot deny that ending was perfection. and I wish I had a better word for it other than perfection. I do stand by not liking the couples that I mentioned at the beginning of this vlog. But am I happy with how it ended? Surprisingly, yes. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Perfection of an ending. The last 10 chapters, perfection. And that's all I have to say about that.